Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our preview for the Italian Grand Prix. Welcome along, everybody. Everybody gather in for the Italian Grand Prix, one of my favourites of the year. Here we are. What we got to talk about today, a lot of news, a lot of stuff to have a look at. Then we're going to have a look at Upgrade Corner, which is a big one this week. Special helmet streak to come, free practice roundup. What else is there? There's the predictions as well. Loads of stuff to get through, loads of talking points as well. So make sure you stick around for all of that. But before we get into that, firstly, like and subscribe, of course, those are the rules. And also shout out to our members, Dakota, the Joyous James, Robin Myers, and Cinnamon Strudel. If you want to be like them and become a member, there is a link in the description. But let's get into this, starting with the news. And, of course, the big news of the week came out on Tuesday, and that is that Logan Sargent has been dropped by the Williams team and will be replaced for the remainder of the season by Franco Colapinto. Now, I have a video all about that by itself that went out on Tuesday, so if you want to see a bit more me going into detail about what I think on that came out on Tuesday, so watch that after you've watched this one. But just quickly going through it, I think it's the right decision to drop Colapinto, drop Sargent, although I wasn't too sure if Colapinto was the right guy. And we've had a bit more information on that because I said originally, why not Liam Lawson and why not Mick Schumacher? And the reason for both has come out, it seems. So firstly, let's deal with the Liam Lawson one. The reason why Lawson was not considered to have this seat is rumour at this point, is that Red Bull were not fully wanting to give him over just in case they still need him towards the end of the year. With everything that's going on with Sergio Perez at the moment, they still aren't 100% sure if Sergio is going to be the guy that will finish the season in that Red Bull. So they don't want to give out Liam Lawson to Williams just to go, oh, actually, we now need him back. Or an even worse point of, we need him back, and Williams go, well, you can't have him back. We've got a contract here, get someone else. So Red Bull did not want to give out Liam Lawson to any other team. So that's why Lawson was not there. As for Mick, my goodness, it's come out today as to why he wasn't in the Williams seat. James Vowles has said, because Mick isn't special. This is the full quote James Vowles has given today. Mick isn't special. He would just be good. I think he would come in with a lot more experience than Franco does, but the future of Williams isn't investing in the past. Oh my God! That is brutal from James Vowles, who normally is not a brutal man. So it makes you wonder, what has Mick done to James Vowles to get that response? I think it's very harsh as well. That very uncalled for, very harsh, not demure, whatever that meme is at the moment. I can't believe he said that, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Now, let's try and break this down if we can, if it's just avoid all the brutalness. But yeah, he would come in with a lot more experience than Franco does, that's for sure. Mick isn't special. I mean, is Franco Colapinto special? Mick's a Formula 2 champion. Franco Colapinto's won one Formula 2 sprint race. So there's that to look at. Williams isn't investing in the past. That very much closes the door on Mick Schumacher's F1 future, really, that one sentence there. Let me know what you think of this, because I think it's very uncalled for and not necessarily true. And also, with that sentence there being said, Colapinto better bloody deliver now, because James Vowles has just written a huge cheque for Colapinto there that he must cash, otherwise he will look like a fool. But yeah, that brutal from James Vowles on Mick Schumacher. Let's gloss over that now and go to a happier place. Because if you've been watching this channel for a while, you all know I have a weird little obsession with driver numbers. I've made a whole video on the history of driver numbers before. I'll try and remember to put that in a link in the description if you are interested in that, because it's one of my favourite videos I've ever made and it didn't get many views. But a lot to get into here, because Franco Colapinto is using the number 43. And here are some fun facts about the number 43 in F1 history. Franco Colapinto will be the 15th driver ever to use the number 43. The only world champion ever to use the number 43 is Nigel Mansell, who used it 3 times in 1980 while driving for Lotus. Nigel Mansell also holds the record for the most amount of races with the number 43, that being 3 races. And I have a photo here for you to see. Here it is if you're watching on YouTube. That's Nigel Mansell in the Lotus with the number 43 on there. His first ever season. I think he only actually did 2 races because he didn't qualify for one of the 3. But yeah, that was in 1980. His first 3 races, well, 2, but 3 that he tried to get into were all with the number 43. So there you go, number 43 there on the Lotus car for Nigel. And some more facts here. It's non-stop facts. The first ever use of the number 43 was Chet Miller in the 1950 Indy 500, where he did not qualify. The most recent use of the number 43 was Stefan Belov in the European Grand Prix that I didn't write the year down for. My goodness, 1 second. Stefan Belov, 1983. So the most recent use of the number 43 was the European Grand Prix of 1983. And he also didn't finish the race because his registration for the race was cancelled by McLaren. And here is the most important and crucial fact about the number 43 in Formula 1 history, is that a car supporting the number 43 has never finished a Formula 1 race. So history could be made this weekend by Franco Colapinto. All he has to do is finish the race, and he'll become the first driver ever to finish the race supporting number 43, and that's what he's been brought in to do. James Vowles says he just wants a driver who doesn't crash the car and finishes the race. So do that, James Vowles will be happy, and history will be made. There you go. Lots of stuff about number 43, but it might be a bit difficult to finish the race this weekend, because a few people have been struggling this week, including Bert Mailander. Now, the more regular F1 fans amongst us will know that name as the man who drives the safety car. Now, on a Thursday, before the whole race weekend actually officially starts, with practice on a Friday, there is what is called the high-speed test. And if you go to a race weekend, I think if you have a 3-day ticket for practice, qualifying and the race, you can have access to the high-speed test. When I went to the Hungarian Grand Prix last year, went to the high-speed test. Basically what it is you see the safety car do a few laps, and then you can walk through the pits yourself afterwards. So Bert Mailander is doing the high-speed test for this weekend's Italian Grand Prix in Monza, which has been newly resurfaced, and he had a big crash on the final corner. Apparently, Bert Mailander's first ever crash in the safety car. Thank God it was in the high-speed test and not in an actual race, because I have no idea what would happen there. But there you go, the first ever crash for Bert Mailander in the safety car. Huge news there, huge news. And that is the news so far this weekend. I thought that we might have some news coming out of Mercedes as to Kimi Antonelli's future. And it felt like that was going to happen today. But it hasn't thus far. And I think that's because of what happened in FP1. And we'll get into that. But firstly, it's Upgrade Corner. And a first for Upgrade Corner. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all 10 teams have brought something to this weekend, which I don't think has ever happened before. I might be wrong, but I don't think that has happened before. Mainly because Monza is such an outlier of a circuit, incredibly low downforce, high speed circuit. So you can't really bring your normal car because you will just be left for dead. So if we look at what we have here, a few teams have just brought circuit-specific things, so low downforce front or rear wings, but we'll go through all the teams. So Red Bull, it is just circuit-specific stuff. Mercedes have brought a brand new rear wing. Ferrari, though, are the big ones. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 upgrades this weekend, very much being touted as the upgrades that will make or break their season. The next 2 races being seen as crucial for Ferrari if they want to be in the mix with the likes of the Red Bulls and the McLarens of the world. So they've got a new nose, new mirrors, new floor fences, new floor body, floor edge, diffuser, engine cover, rear wing and front wing. Basically, an entirely new car for the Ferraris, and so far it's looking all right. They are definitely looking quicker than they were this time last week, although this time last week turned out to be all right in terms of Charles Leclerc, but in practice they were a bit nowhere. So if we continue that trajectory, they'll have a good weekend this weekend. McLaren, front corner, front wing and engine cover. Aston, front wing, beam wing, rear wing. Alpine, they've got a circuit-specific front wing. Williams have got circuit-specific front wing and rear wing. Racing Bills, front wing, floor body, rear wing, beam wing, halo and mirrors. So quite a few upgrades for the Racing Bills, although I believe it's only for Yuki's car. Ricciardo either has none or only like a couple of those upgrades. I'm not sure which one, but Yuki has all of them. Ricciardo doesn't. So that's one to watch for this weekend. If Yuki is outperforming Ricciardo, that might be why. If Ricciardo is outperforming Yuki, they may have an issue. So that's one to watch this weekend. Stake F1 team kicks Sauber, front wing, floor body diffuser and rear wing. And Haas have brought a new front wing and front suspension. So a lot of upgrades coming this weekend. But yes, we'll break into the free practice in just one moment to have a look and see whose upgrades are working and whose are not. But now it's time for Special Helmet Street. And let's start with Ferrari. Now, Ferrari for the last couple of years have had special liveries for the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, Ferrari being an Italian team, the Tifosi, the Ferrari fans, will be out in mass this weekend to celebrate Ferrari. No special livery this year, but they have got special driver overalls, which are black and look like carbon fibre. And to go alongside with that, the Ferrari lads have got these special kind of black carbon fibre helmets as well. This is Leclerc's one, which looks pretty good, to be fair. It's just basically his normal helmet, bit more splashes of yellow, Italian flag across the top, and then black carbon fibre. But this is Carlos Sainz's one, and I love it. It looks incredible. So, of course, we've got the carbon fibre bits in here. You can see a bit in the background here what these new overalls look like for this weekend as well. But the main bit of the yellow with the prancing horse there as well, the splashes of the Italian flag, this for me is one of the best helmets we have seen this year. Fantastic stuff from Carlos Sainz. Another good one though is this one from Lance Stroll. Now Aston have had a few special helmets this year, but I think this is the first special helmet we've seen from Aston Martin which isn't dedicated to a sponsor. It is just, a celebration of Italy. Now, you may correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that Lance Stroll might have some kind of Italian family heritage. I can't quite remember. But this is the helmet he has got here. The Italian flag kind of spread across the whole thing. The tricolor, I can't speak Italian. Is it called, or is that the French one? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I might have made a fool of myself there. But it is 3 colours. But what I really like about this one, of course, the green, white and red of the Italian flag. But if you see the side profiles, looks incredible. That great red there for one side, the green on the other, then it all comes together as the Italian flag. Really good stuff from Lance Stroll there as well. Across to Yuki Tsunoda. Now, Yuki's had this kind of design before, so it has this little cartoon fella on the top up here, few Italian flags. I don't know if this is a Yuki specific thing or maybe it's a cartoon from Japan that are also a sponsor of his, but a few little Italian things there as well, looking pretty good. And the final one that I thought we should talk about is this. which isn't a special helmet, but a new helmet for the grid, and it is the helmet of Franco Colapinto, the new Williams driver. A pretty basic Williams design with the Argentinian flag across there as well, looking good. So that is Special Helmet Street. That's all done. Let's have a look now then at the results of free practice. And the big thing to talk about in FP1, of course, was Kimi Antonelli, who was having his first FP1 session. Of course, the rookie sessions that happen, I think every team has to do 2 of them across the year. Kimi Antonelli stepping in for George Russell in FP1 this morning in his home Grand Prix of the Italian Grand Prix. Very high expectations on him. Like I said before, many people kind of pointing at this weekend as the one to announce Antonelli as Hamilton's replacement within the team, and I thought that they would, but then he had a big crash. He got 5 laps in FP1, had a big crash, nearly identical to the one of the safety car in the high-speed test, if you've seen that footage. He was okay, thankfully, and I haven't actually seen the Formula 2 qualifying results, but I think he did relatively well, so obviously unfazed by this. Car was repaired. It took a while, obviously. With any crash, it's going to take a while. George Russell missed the first 10-15 minutes of FP2, but the car seems to be going well from there. Obviously, not the debut Antonelli would have wanted, not the debut Mercedes would have wanted for him. Toto came over the radio and told him that everything's going to be okay, but I would not be surprised if the announcement of Antonelli to Mercedes for 2025 was pushed back a little bit because of that crash. As for other things within FP1, Colapinto made his FP1 debut. I believe it is anyway. He finished 17th in the Williams, whereas Albon was 8th. So a bit of a difference between the two of them there, but you would expect that, especially in FP1. The big surprise was Valtteri Bottas, who was 5th. Actually led most of the session throughout, but then as we go into the closing moments, fell down to 5th place. Max Verstappen topped the times with a last-minute fast lap. Leclerc in P2, Norris P3, Sainz P4, and as I said, Valtteri Bottas in P5. Piastri was 6th, Hamilton 7th, Albon 8th, Sergio Perez 9th, and Fernando Alonso completes the top 10. Then as we go into FP2, we had another big crash here, this time for Kevin Magnussen. Once again, he seemed to be okay, but that car will require quite a bit of work. Now, an interesting thing here is Lewis Hamilton topped the times for this one, but both Mercedes drivers complaining that their seat was overheating, of all things, which is a very strange one. I haven't heard that one in a while, and it was very strange for both cars to be doing it, so it makes you think maybe an upgrade has gone wrong, but they only brought a new rear wing. Well, that was on their official listings anyway. So, an interesting one from Mercedes that something's gone wrong there, but again, plenty of time for them to fix it. And Mercedes have a kind of thing over the last few years of maybe their FP1 and FP2 aren't too good, then overnight they will just fix everything that's wrong with the car and come out of FP3 looking quite good. So that could be possibly a thing going on there. Lando Norris was in P2 by 0.003. Sainz was 3rd, Piastri 4th, Leclerc 5th, all separated by 0.154, so very close in FP2. The names that weren't there, though, were the Red Bulls, Verstappen down in 14th, Perez in 15th, never truly setting a fast representative time in FP2, but again, I think the Red Bull looks like it's a bit of a handful this weekend, but Max proved in FP1 that when you can get your head around the car, it can be fast. So I wouldn't write off Red Bull as of right now, which brings us perfectly to the predictions. And of course, if you've watched these videos before, you'll know I have never got a prediction wrong in the history of making predictions in this channel or in my life. So as I say this, I'm sure I will hear millions of Italians rejoicing because my first prediction is a Ferrari win. I am confident in the work of Frederick Vasseur. I think these upgrades are looking good. Ferrari in FP1 and FP2 are consistently up there with your likes of your McLarens, your Red Bulls, your Mercedes. I think they're holding a little bit back. I think they'll be good in the race. I think Ferrari will be winning this one. As for which driver, not part of my official predictions, but I'm going with Charles Leclerc to take the win here this weekend. And my second prediction has a bigger view to the championship picture. And my second prediction is that Max Verstappen will finish ahead of Lando Norris at this race. No idea where they will finish, but Max will be the one who is ahead. Let me know what you think of the predictions. Let me know your own predictions. I will be here all weekend to cover all things Italian Grand Prix. It's a huge weekend because it's not just the F1, it's not just the F2, it's not just the F3, it's actually the Formula 3 finale. And I think there's like 6 guys who could become Formula 3 champion this weekend. So a huge weekend for Formula 3, a big weekend for Formula 2, and for Formula 1 as well, of course. So all of that will be covered this weekend on the channel. Make sure you subscribe for that. Until then, though, until tomorrow, have a good one. I'll see you later. Goodbye.